Hey, welcome back to part two, defeating the habit of procrastination. Now, it's easy to avoid things. It is easy to put things off. And if we're not careful, it literally becomes a pattern. In worst case scenarios, a habit. Now, we hear a lot about habits, the book Atomic Habits and putting positive things into place. This is a negative style of leadership. It is a negative style of decision-making and behavior that needs to be broken. So in part one, we talked about identifying the source of the problem. Where's the life of that thing coming from? We talked about delegating, and we talked about low-hanging fruit. 4 other things that I want to share with you today on how we put principles and best practices around this so that we break this particular way of doing things or not doing things. So let's go to the very first one today. Let's talk about doing the right thing. You hear me talk a lot about this, but I want to give it a little bit of a twist, not only making the right decision, but what kind of self-talk are we having when it comes to this area of procrastination? Because whether you consider it or not, you're talking to yourself. You are literally making a decision on the spot. I'm going to avoid this. I'm going to put this off. And why? There is internal excuses that are going on. There is internal self-talk. It's probably negative. You're saying things like, I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll do this. I don't want to deal with this right now. You could actually even feel emotional things happening, fear, anxiety, worry, all these things that can happen, but it all has to do with self-talk. You have to reverse that, my friends. You got to talk yourself into, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to take care of it now. I'm going to deal with it right now and not put it off. What kind of self-talk is happening at that moment? Here's a second thing for today. Is there any gold at the end of the rainbow? Is there any gold at the end of the rainbow? What am I talking about? When we're talking about procrastination, we're talking about putting energy, effort, money, whatever it may be, resources into a decision, an assignment, whatever it may be. Is there a win? Is there an impact? Should I even be doing it? Is it worth my time? This falls a little bit into should I delegate, but here it's not even a matter of should I delegate. Should it be done at all? Should it be on my list? Maybe it should, maybe it shouldn't. You need to make that decision. And if there's no win, if there's no result, if there's no ROI, return on investment, then get rid of it. But if there is, whether it is small or whether it is large, then make sure you deal with it and you deal with it on the spot. Number 3, I love this. What gets scheduled gets done. What gets scheduled gets done. I really want to speak to you more out of the idea from the book, Eat That Frog. Excellent book, by the way. The entire premise, the main idea is that the frog represents the ugliest, nastiest thing that you need to confront and deal with. And rather than putting it off and cooking it later and eating it later, what effective, productive people do is they eat it first thing or in the morning or when they are the freshest, when they are the brightest, when they have the most energy. For most people, they would say, hey, first thing in the morning, I'm ready to go, I'm energetic. For other people, maybe it's later at night. Probably one of the worst times of the day is that 3 to 4 o'clock where you kind of have that lull and you're looking for the caffeine and everything else. When are you the freshest? When are you the brightest? When do you have the most energy? My friends, schedule time in your calendar. Put it in your calendar. Maybe you're going to put eat that frog, eat that issue, deal with it, make a decision at that moment. So what do we have? Number 1, we're going to have positive self-talk. Number 2, we're going to decide, is there any gold at the end of that rainbow? Is there a win in this for me? We're going to schedule. We're going to be systematic about this. And then number four, what is my environment like? I'm having a discussion with somebody that I was coaching and they hate doing paperwork. And so we said, okay, you're going to leave this meeting and you're going to go to your office and you're going to do paperwork. And they sit down, they start doing paperwork. And all of a sudden they start getting irritated literally with their chair. They're like, oh, this is not comfortable. I don't feel right. Listen, procrastination is hard enough as it is to deal with. Imagine now if the chair is irritating me, the environment, maybe there's too much noise, there's too much distraction, my notifications are going off, my phone is going off. Listen, environment is important. So maybe you need music, maybe you need some rest, maybe you need some break time in between the decisions, which forces you not to procrastinate because I've created a better environment. Maybe I got to go to a cafe. I need to go to a coffee shop and maybe have a latte or something. Whatever it is, whatever it takes to help you not to avoid the issue, but to deal with it, make it happen. Number one, positive self-talk. Number two, is there a win? Is there any gold at the end of that rainbow? Number three, we're going to be systematic. We're going to schedule. And number four, the environment. One last bonus thought that I want to leave you with. I'm talking to this leader, and a young leader, and we were talking about discipline and focus and changing behavior. And, people are always looking for the big bullet, the big silver bullet that's going to make all the changes. And I, asked him this question. I said, do you make your bed in the morning? What does your room look like? Are your clothes on the floor? Are they hanging? What was I saying? Hey, let's look for the small things that we can change that's actually going to develop our focus rather than looking for the big silver bullet that's going to change things in an instant, because it doesn't. When we're talking about breaking the habit of procrastination, it's going to have to be small steps that we do as we develop this muscle of focus, as we develop this muscle of discipline. This is what's going to help us defeat this enemy. And my friends, procrastination is an enemy. It'll cause stress. It'll cost you emotionally, financially, physically. You need to defeat this enemy, and you will see incredible results both for you and the people that you're leading. Thank you for joining me today. Any comments, any questions, please put them below and I will answer all of them.